So the next one, we're going to move on to the render unit. So we'll have to do the back-in renders on a pre-prepared area. It's same again. I've showed you the trowels that we're going to be using, and it's the same process. We'll be applying it like the back-in internal plasters, and it'll be ruled off the same with the serrated edge. Once it's on, after a period of time when it's picked up, we have to do what we do called closing the face of it. And by doing that, this is a tool we use for that. It's called a spatula, and we'll just glide over the surface, and what that does, it smooths it off, gives it a nice even surface, and that makes your finishes achievable. So that's the tool that we use for the flattening process. Then we have a float, plastic float. For the finishes, we're going to rub over the surface, over all the surface area, bringing the sand to the top. It's a sand lime mix that we're using. In the real world, for a plain face finish out on site, you will be using a sand and cement finish. But because it's a training school and we recycle all the materials if we can, because it's kinder to the environment, we use a lime sand mortar mix, which really is an old heritage mix that was used years ago before cement was invented. So we can get the achievable finishes. So we use that to get the finish. So that's for the plain face finish. On the next render element, so we've got the plain face finish. We've explained that with again the finish with the float. Also we'll go over it with a little sponge and we sponge it off. We've got other decorative elements that we're going to be describing and demonstrating today. One of the elements is what they call a tourmaline finish, which is a coloured honeycomb finish, and that is achieved. The way you achieve that is you've got your finished floated off render element to the wall. Then what you have to do is you have to paint on a primer coat, which is the tourmaline mix, which is a sand and cement, coloured cement mix, which you mix into like a small slurry. You paint a background on. The reason you do that is because it equalises the suction and it also equalises the colour. Because if you don't do a paint the background on primer coat, you will get darker pieces gridding through. So it's all part of the process. This is the tool that we use to achieve the honeycomb finish. It's called a tourmaline gun. As you can see, it's got various settings on it. You can move the settings up and down to whatever you want. We always keep it usually on setting number 2. We find that gives a more uniformed finish. And to achieve that, because it's got the primer coat on, it probably need a minimum of 3 coats. And to achieve that, all you do is you turn the handle. Inside, you can see it's got like it's got a drum in the middle, and it's got little members on it that spits out little globlets of the sand and cement, coloured sand and cement, and that achieves it, like I said, which will be demonstrated when Charlie does that demonstration. Right, so we've going through the different finishes that we're trying to achieve on the render. The next one is the ashlar coating, which basically what that is from a really good finish, external finish, which is a plain face rendered finish, you're looking to give it a little bit more definition. And to achieve that, what you need to do then is what we call ashlar cutting. And this is the basic ashlar cutting tool. As you can see, it's got teeth in it. It's got a wooden handle with teeth in. You can get more advanced ones of these that have V-grooves and different types of profiles, which will give different shapes when you cut it out. But basically what we do is once we've marked it out, we will be holding this up to a level and dragging it across, and that will then give it the definition where it's looking like blockwork. It'll all be staggered and in line. Right, and now we're going to move on to the final render finish that we'll be doing, which is going to be a dry dash finish. So basically what it'll be a pre-prepared area that's got the base coat on, the scratch coat on, which is that area. Charlie, the technician, is going to demonstrate that. He's going to rough all that area in, rule it level with the serrated edge, and then what we have to do then is then apply the stone. It's a coloured stone, it's a coloured aggregate We use the black and white spar in here, or sometimes we use a Canterbury spar. The tool that we use for applying that is this. It's called a harling trowel, and basically all it is you get the aggregate into a bucket, you put the harling trowel into the bucket, get the aggregate onto the harling trowel, and it's applied. When it's applied face on. It's not applied in that kind of direction. If you put it in that kind of direction, it pushes all the levelness of your model out of shape. So to do it to the standards in the correct way, always dash face on that way, which will be demonstrated when we do the practical task.